something to the table and we share. I mean, it's not, the thing I like about print is it's not as proprietary as other mediums can be, where you figure out this one thing and then you sit on it and like, only I know how to do this, and like this is my thing. It's like when we figure something out, we get excited about it and then we share it, and then we see somebody else working with that idea and expanding on it, and that's how it continues to evolve and be relevant and fresh. I mean, like the innovation always comes through sharing, you know. So I think that's a good comparison to the food idea. It's like everybody's bringing a dish, and it sort of combines to this like bigger feast of.
And like print talk can be kind of similar, I feel like, to like potluck talk. We're like, how did you do this?
Right.
What's the ingredient in this?
Oh, the secret for this is like Szechuan peppercorns, not black peppercorns. Yeah. And you're like, oh, okay, that's why it's doing that. Yeah.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, I love that comparison. I mean, I think a lot of artists in general, I think, have passion for food too. I think like food, I think, is the highest art form though, of all. Yeah. I mean, not just like the actual physical nourishment, but like name another art form where every sense is engaged.
I mean, only artificially, right? Like only if somebody's like, I am building this into my painting in a really awkward way, like something. Like it's not like by its nature.
Yeah, but I mean, with food, you literally have taste, you've got touch, you've got smell, you've got the sound. You know, like especially when you're cooking, but even like, you know, when you're pairing things that are crisp with things that are not crisp.
Well, the sound that they make when you eat it.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Every sense is engaged in food. No other art form can do that. So
that's beautiful.
I make prints so I can eat food.
So you can travel the world
and eat food.
To eat
food. That is the secret is out.
Yeah.
That's why I make prints.
Do you have a favorite meal? Or a very memorable meal that you've like shared with print through print?
Ooh. I mean, yeah, I mean a recent one. You brought up my wife Cassie. She had made this real synchronous connection with some Finnish printmakers for a totally non-print related thing. But we ended up going over to Finland a couple summers ago and met with this woman, Minna, and she had a friend that lived out on the archipelago. I realized I'd been mispronouncing it my whole life.
It's not archipelago?
Archipelago,
okay.
Yeah. And so this, her friend invited us out to go to her summer house, because people have summer houses.
Of course.
You know, surrounded by blueberry fields and things like that. And so she invited us out to do like a traditional like Finnish sauna. It's right on the Baltic.
Isn't it crazy that some people just get to live that way?
Yeah.
Like that's just like their life.
And her husband was smoking perch that he had caught out of this little makeshift smoker, and she had this insane spread of food, like just rolled it out for us. It's just like, you know, wanted to show us like all of her favorite things, you know, the things that she loved to eat, the things that were special, things that you only could eat in the summertime.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just, I mean, the weather is so beautiful there in the summer, but like we were outside under like a gazebo, and that meal was insanely memorable. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Did you have any of the smoked perch, or was it not?
Oh yeah, no, we ate the smoked
so that
perch.
was in there too. And,
figured out how to debone fish sort of on the fly in this really interesting way. It was like it was like a combination. You can just like pull this off, take this off, pull the bones completely out, and then just like.
I think too, there's something about eating a meal outside.
Yeah.
In nice weather. I don't know. It's just so nice.
Here's another food-related story. So when I went on research leave and I went down to Chile and Argentina in 2019, and Cassie came with me for the first week. And so we decided to jump on a bus, go to Valparaiso, which is this really amazing city, and it's all up these crazy hills and lots of great street art and just a really, really interesting vibe. And so, of course, I'm looking up restaurants, and I found this one that was supposed to be incredible. And so we're like, let's just go, and it's like a maze. You know, we found our way to this restaurant, and the woman who owned it, the chef, was like, honey, you got to get a reservation. Like, this isn't going to work tonight, but please, you know, maybe try tomorrow. And we're like, cool. And so we walked like down the hill, just like 2 restaurants over to this place. I can't remember what it was in Spanish, but it was like Little Red Riding Hood and the Wolf.
Okay.
And so they had this beautiful like outdoor patio, and we're sitting there eating some fish, drinking some wine, and our waitress came and talked to us, and she was like, hey, like, why are you here? What brings you to Valparaiso? And we said, we're printmakers. And she just went, and she's like, shut up, I'm a printmaker.
Oh my God.
And we're like, no way. And so she's like, yeah. And she said, my friend and I do this like street art tour tomorrow. Do you want to come and meet us at this like plaza, and we'll take you around, we'll show you all the like great street art in Valparaiso, and then we'll go to this gallery that shows a bunch of prints, and then we'll go back to our studio, we'll have mate, and
amazing.
So we did that the next day, and I had a box of prints from all my friends that I tour with, and so I was sharing prints with them from the US, and they were trading with us, and it's just like, we went for a meal, great meal, and our, you know, there's not a ton of printmakers in, you know, I think actually Valparaiso's got a pretty good like relief print scene. I had some colleagues that were just down there. But so many memorable meals based off of printmaking.
And memorable meals that lead into printmaking,
right,
as well as printmaking that leads into memorable.
Yes, when I go to the big conferences, I get real nervous. I get nervous about cutting conversations short with people,
really?
You know, because there's so, like, I feel like my attention is constantly being pulled in different directions, and people I want to talk to, people that want to talk to me, and there's just like, you can't, it's like speed dating, you know, you can get a little bit, but then you have to kind of go off and do something else, and it's spread out, you know, like it's consolidated.
Yeah, you're here, and you're like, you're in the Blue Genie.
Yeah.
For like a chunk of hours.
Yeah.
And you get to like, and I think this is actually the first place that I met a lot of people in person for real. Like, it was the first place I met Ronaldo after we'd worked together for years on the podcast. It was here.
It's here.
So I think that's one of the why it feels more intimate and special than something really big.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point. So cool.
I was thinking too, because Pressure Island tonight, this is going to be the 9th year. Really? The only reason it's not the 10th year is because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the other day. I couldn't remember how long it had been that I've been putting this show together, and so I started like digging back through Instagram to try to find posts and going through old emails, and so like the first 3 years it was at Johanna Mueller's space, the Lion's Nest.
Yeah.
So she had like gallery, gifts, and a little print shop in the back, and so as soon as I heard Print Austin was going to be a thing, I was like, I want to do something. I want to showcase my students, especially because I want people to see how amazing our print community is in Corpus, and so that's where Pressure Island was born. It's got to be punny. And so the first 3 years were at Lion's Nest, and then Johanna moved on to bigger and better things. And then it might have been her or Kathy that got me in touch with Louis Carnegie Gallery that was on East Cesar Chavez. And so for 3 years we did it there. And it was a wonderful venue, garage door opening, nice, just square cube, but they had a stage outside. And so we would book bands to come and play. We had this great band, the Blind Owls from Corpus, played one year. We had this amazing female psych band called Chaoticy that played another year. So we did that for, I think, 3 years, and then we moved it to the Leona Gallery, which is this guy Billy Bishop that ran a print shop here. And then the last 3 years it's been at Slugfest, which is you know, my first love of printmaking. The first sort of community event was at Slugfest, because I came down to SGC in 2001 and got like thrown in the back of Uncle Chuck's truck with a bunch of other printmakers I didn't know. They drove us to Slugfest, and that's where I met Tom and Margie for the first time. Tony Fitzpatrick was having an exhibition, and I was like, oh wow, this is a print shop. This is not a print school. I didn't realize that print shops existed as community spaces. And I was like, this is amazing. And like, people were hanging out, they were having drinks, they were like talking about prints, they were meeting each other. Fast forward 10 years later, I'm at another Tony Fitzpatrick show at Slugfest, and see this, professionally, see this well put together young lady from across the room that ends up being Cassie. So we first meet at Slugfest.
So sweet.
So it's, the mighty Slugfest press has been my like.
It's that, man, that's like, there's some big through lines of destiny right there.
Yeah, and it's like it's just there's sort of this like bastion of print community in Austin, and I've had students that were taught by Tom and Margie come be grad students with me, and there's just this amazing lineage. So being able to do Pressure Island there has been really it's been really special for me. So
that's so lovely. Do you have any big plans for year 10? Blowout.
I would like to do something that would be like bring a lot of the alumni together. Because we've got, people that you've interviewed, so many of them, like, Julia Curran, and like Steph Alanese, and Lars here on the other side, and Maclovio and Clarissa and Jackie, and man, there's so many great people out there making stuff, and but that would maybe mean that I would need to get a bigger space, and it also maybe mean that I couldn't bring a bunch of cases of beer and boxed wine. There wouldn't be cats. Because Slugfest always has cats. There would definitely not be Janet the tortoise. So I don't know. Might have to keep it at Slugfest, but maybe it could be more saloned than it already is. I think we've got 36 pieces in the show tonight.
That's great.
Which is a lot for a small space.
Yeah.
But it's a really good. It's good to see the range of what students are doing on our little island.
Do you do like one from every student, or is
no?
It kind of a curated
it's
selection?
Curated. It's usually. A lot of it's things that came from the previous fall and spring semesters. So it's usually all the grads, and a lot of like non-printmaking grads will make prints and put them in the show. And then, my grads are teaching, and so I have them curate their best sort of prints from their classes, and I'll look at those, and then we'll try to consolidate a good show from that. And then if we publish anybody, we'll put that person's work in the show. And of course we've got faculty and staff at our school, graphic designers that make prints. We're a real print heavy department. Even our building manager Silas is like a amazing printmaker, and we always have his collagraphs in there. And so
it really is like a cross section of printmaking at Corpus. Which is it's a university on an island.
It's a yearly survey. So last year, and we always have the punny tagline. Last year was Topical Paradise.
I remember that.
And then this year is Playa's Ball.
Playa's Ball.
Yes.
Are these your puns, or do you outsource them? Okay,
they are.
So you can be responsible
I'm
for everyone.
responsible for the groans, yes.
Okay.
Topical Paradise was probably the peak for me, though.
It's really good. Yeah. A Topical Paradise. And what was this one again?
Playa's Ball.
Playa's Ball.
It's beaches, not bitches.